Justin Lafazan, welcome to StartupAcademy.org. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you. It really is. Today we're going to be talking. This is day one. We're going to be talking about why become an entrepreneur. Why it's so special now. But first, let's introduce you and your background. You've got a great track record as a keynote speaker, as an author, as a consultant, as an entrepreneur. Just give us a brief background about you and your journey.
Absolutely, and thanks again for having me. I think from a young age, I was a rebel. Even though I would do well in school, I just felt that I wanted to do something more with life. I was really creative, I had a lot of energy, and I felt stifled a lot because of the educational path I was on. So I started my first company back in high school, and that led me to taking time off before college. And what I kept doing when I was, starting my company, I was traveling and speaking. I would just meet really cool young entrepreneurs from all across the world, and they would tell me what they're working on. And that led me to thinking, all right, why isn't there a community here? Why isn't there a group where all these people can come together? So I started NextGen, which is a community and conference for young entrepreneurs. So we have a conference, NextGen Summit, which happens once to twice a year, where we bring together thousands of founders, investors, and mentors to connect. We also have an online community where people can share questions and share struggles and get referrals to different vendors and things like that. And the next step for NextGen is we're raising a venture fund. So we're currently doing private placement to find investors who are looking to invest in college-aged entrepreneurs to fund that next level and next generation of early-stage startups. But it all fits my personal mission of helping young entrepreneurs, which is why I published my book last December about finding fulfillment in work, and that's why I speak to different audiences as well.
I mean, it's such a great book, and one of the reasons why you're here as well. What wakes you up, right, is the title of it. Do you want to talk about that? Because I think it's really important. The difference between an entrepreneur that's positively motivated as opposed to an entrepreneur that's perhaps not so. I don't want to say badly motivated, but not motivated by holistic kind of life changing
Yeah.
stuff.
Absolutely. I think if you ask most entrepreneurs, they'll tell you that what being an entrepreneur means is just being someone who wants to create opportunities or someone who wants to solve problems, not necessarily someone who wants to start a business. So I looked at all of the entrepreneurs in my life, great politicians, great nonprofit leaders, and great business people, and they were all really passionate about the work that they were doing. They were mission driven. They weren't driven towards making money or getting by and doing things for one by one after one. They were driven by something deeper, something core inside of them. So I spent a year of my life studying these people, putting them in rooms and asking that question, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What wakes you up? Trying to find out how young people specifically can build lives that are incredible and that they're energized, that they hop out of bed in the morning and are excited about their day. And there are too few people out in the world who don't have that, but entrepreneurs do. It's because of the way we're built and what's in our blood. So I'm trying to kind of start this mission where young people can learn from so many different mentors that are way older and more experienced than we are, as well as other young people who are doing this to get the answer to that question. What wakes you up in the morning? How can you build this life that is energizing and mission driven?
That's fantastic. And out of those, in your I guess your discovery journey and writing that book, what were the not necessarily your personal highs and lows? What were the highs and lows that you found as part of discovering the content and the whole story that you're talking about?
Definitely. It's really hard to live a life of prosperity when you're mission driven. There's a reason that people say if you want to make money, don't become an entrepreneur, because chances are your business is going to fail and you have to do one after the other to actually see some type of financial gain. The reason people become entrepreneurs is because they're driven by something much more than money, a problem, an opportunity, or something inside of them that needs to express energy and creativity. So I think the best part about all of this is if it works and you're able to build a vehicle around great lifestyle and solving problems, you can wake up every day excited about the work that you're doing and feel really good about it. But the downside of that low is it's really freaking hard to do. It's so hard to build, and especially for young people who are burdened by student debt, let's say, or a lot of people becoming entrepreneurs trying to balance a full-time job and their passion on the side. It's really difficult to create something sustainable financially.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think there is the difference also between being mission driven and also not having understanding commerce and understanding, probably like your number one key metric, which is revenue. If you haven't got revenue, you pretty much don't have a business, even if you're not for profit, right?
Absolutely. And I think too many entrepreneurs miss out on that because they're so focused on a lot of the fluffy stuff, which is really cool, like press and like speaking engagements. And a lot of that stuff is incredible and can be a great tool to grow your business. But at the end of the day, if you're not building a sustainable vehicle that brings in money and makes money, it's really difficult to hang around for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Um, um, so why be an entrepreneur now? What do you think is really special about this time that we're living in? As we chatted on just beforehand, we've suddenly living in a time where we've got access to these vast distribution channels, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, be it Instagram, be it Snapchat. Google, we've got app stores, Google Play.
Yeah.
We've got, also better access to funding like crowdfunding and, more activity in the angel investor market, especially. What else do you think, is really exciting about here and now?
Yeah, I think the best part of why it's so cool to be an entrepreneur now is because you have thousands of case studies willing to engage with you. I mean, more than ever, you have access to people who have done it beforehand. Just like what you guys are doing on, Startup Academy, you have access to real people who have built incredible companies, built sustainable revenues, sold those companies, and are now investing or giving back or teaching. So more than ever, if you want to start a company, you can go to people who have done it before, especially in your industry or in the type of space you're looking to break into, and build something. You could find case studies for that. So more than ever, it's easy to get information and educational resources. But I think more importantly, the question of why you should be an entrepreneur, not only why it's so great to do it now, is because you can't survive in this world without the fire underneath you, in my personal opinion. I'm a strong believer in if you want to live every day engaged and happy, you have to be working on something that you're crazy about. A good friend of mine always loves to say it's an unbalanced life that you should kind of be looking towards. A balanced life isn't worth living. And entrepreneurs, while we're crazy and people complain that we work too much or are so energetic or need to slow down, it's because we have these unbalanced lives that we're so passionate about different things. And I think for anyone who really cares about that happiness in life, statistically speaking, entrepreneurs are more engaged with the work that they're doing.
Interesting. So aspire to imbalance. I like that. That's my favorite insight of the day. That's really cool. Okay.
I'm glad.
I'm just thinking. So what's your prediction for the next, say, 5 to 10 years? I don't want to talk about purely about tech. I think tech is probably more ubiquitous than we take credit for. So I'm not necessarily talking about tech startups. What startups are emerging that are really exciting you at the moment? And they could be, a blending of, sectors. So like, my favorite one's talking about fashion meets IoT, Internet of Technology, so wearables or sustainability. What are the areas that you see being really, I guess, disrupted over the next 5 to 10 years?
Absolutely. I think more than ever, I see people jumping on the social entrepreneurship bandwagon, and especially using technology. So what that means is that there are people out there who are seeing great social problems, like lack of clean drinking water in Africa, things like this. These great global problems, and they're using technology to solve those problems and make money doing it. And that's where I see this incredible growth happening from. So especially in IoT, because people are able to produce technology and electronics at cheaper prices, they're much smaller and they're much more adaptable, flexible, and durable. People can create technological devices that can be used in low-income areas around the world to provide benefit. I'll give you a really great example. A good friend of mine, Ann Makazinski, she's a member of our Next Gen network. She built a flashlight that's powered on the heat of the human hand. So for folks all over Africa who don't have access to, lights when they're doing their work or in the evening because there's no, light structure, electronic grid there, they can simply have flashlights held in their hand and they're going to be automatically powered, no batteries needed. So not only can that product make money and really build a great company, but it's serving a social impact. So I see with IoT and with technology, people solving great global problems through business.
That's right. I mean, we talk a lot about, you know, trying to find those entrepreneurs that aren't just, you know, trying to get rich quick. I think, you know, the startup scene, especially outside it at least, is a little bit tarnished by that. You know, certainly when we run our incubator and accelerators, we've found that the most motivated people are the ones that want to change the world. And, you
Yeah.
know, I think more and more that's heading towards change the world for positive change as well, right?
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's never been an easier time to do it because there are so many problems out there that in the past we would have just ignored. But now with technology and with access to educational resources, just the fact that a kid growing up in high school can Google how to start a startup and read so many incredible books and articles and watch resources like this and on Startup Academy. It's never been an easier time to learn what it means to be an entrepreneur and how to start a company. So I'm really excited for the next 5 to 10 years.
All right, fantastic. So I'm going to just try and prompt you for a, you know, a kind of a few tips. You know, what are your top tips for, you know, generating the power of ideas, getting your idea up, and starting your journey as an entrepreneur, as a new entrepreneur?
Yeah, clean cut, number one best tip I ever received. It's find the people who have done what you're looking to do, ask them how they did it, and reverse engineer it. So I'll give you so many great examples of this. When I wanted to become a speaker, I wanted to speak at conferences and on the TED stage, things like that. I found other people who were already doing it, who were getting paid to speak, who are traveling to speak, speaking to big audiences. I asked them exactly, how did you become a speaker? What was your journey like? How do you build media kits? Things like that. They told me that, and then I reverse engineered it and applied it to my own life. I've used that to speak. I've used that to write a book. I've used that to start my company. And I think you could really do that in anything. You know, if you're someone looking for angel investment or raising venture capital money, go ask other startups who have already done it. What do I need to know? What don't I need to know? What are the mistakes you've made? Figure out what they say and then reverse engineer and apply it to your own unique path. I think using that piece of advice and asking for what you want and asking all these really important questions, you can get all of the education you need to start a business and grow a business as well as a personal brand.
Great, fantastic. So growth hacking, that's, you know, classic Tim Ferriss, right? Take something, reverse engineer it, and pick it apart and ride on somebody else's coattails.
Yeah.
Anything else? What's your next favorite tip?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the power of asking. So a really great friend of mine, his name is Nick Maris. He runs Kettle and Fire, a multi-million-dollar health products company based here in Philadelphia. Nick says he always asks for more. He always asks. I'll go to the line at Chipotle and they don't give him enough guacamole, and I'll ask for more. And little simple things like that. He loves that power of asking. But he does it in his professional life too. So if you want to partner with a great organization, if you've never asked, it's never going to happen. Some really simple things like you want to be featured in Forbes. I think everyone wants to be featured in Forbes. It would help their business. It would help you grow. If you've never asked, they'll never come. So the power of asking, the power of finding the stakeholders and making your case and actually asking for what you want and asking for what you need can open so many doors in business, but no one does it. People are afraid to ask. So ask for what you want.
Okay, so put a bit of hustle in your step. Excellent. And one final tip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like all about identifying stakeholders. So more than ever, you can get access to really successful people. I could email the CEO of JP Morgan Chase tomorrow if I wanted to, using so many different tools. A couple of them are Banana Tag or Email Hunter, and there are a lot of others you could find online. But it's easier than ever to identify people's email addresses and get in contact with them. So use these tools to find the stakeholders, and don't be afraid to reach out to people who are way above you or have achieved so much. Because it's often the people at the top who are most engaged and most interested in sharing, because the people in the middle are too busy working to get there. So use these resources to get in touch with stakeholders, really important people, so you can learn and connect with them.
Fantastic. Okay, I love those first three tips too that can kick us off today on day one. So first one, growth hack. Second one, hustle. Third one, network relentlessly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, great. We'll put some of those links up on your page as well, so other people can access them. We're going to wrap up. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what you're doing with Next Gen Summit, plus also anything else you've got in the pipeline, maybe some new books, any other
Yeah,
keynotes
absolutely.
that you're doing?
Absolutely. So the goal of NextGen and the core of all of these verticals we're launching are to find really smart young people who are working on cool projects, bring them together and provide them with value, whether that's connecting them to funding or educational resources or mentors. So this next step of what we're doing is we're launching a venture fund called 3AM VC. So we're going to identify top startups that are led by young entrepreneurs who are using technology to make real change in the world and invest in the early stage seed rounds with them to help capitalize and fuel that pipeline of early stage growth led by young entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur looking for funding, or if you're an investor looking to connect with this college age market, we'd absolutely love to connect with you. We also continue to host our Next Gen summits and our in-person meetups, and you can find out about all of that on joinnextgen.com.
Fantastic, Justin. Okay, well, that's a wrap. We'll put some of those links again up on the site. Hopefully, as they get past and through their final pitching, they get their final pitches complete on day 3, we'll send them across to you and you can check them out, right?
Absolutely. More than happy to.
All right, fantastic. Justin, thanks so much for participating as part of StartupAcademy.org, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dan. It was great.
Have a great day. Thank you.